People, deluded, I'm back again. As usual, big up yourselves for tuning in. It means the world to my long-term supporters. If you're new here, you know you need to turn on your notification bells, hit the subscription button, make sure you're hitting the like button, and get the creative juices flowing because we've got a lot to discuss, people. Now, as the Euros is over on Sunday, England were in the final. You know, David Raya, best of luck, but where Aaron Ramsdale, Declan Rice, and Bukayo Saka are concerned, I think we're going to do it, people. So, yeah, man. Big up Gareth Southgate. In Southgate we trust. But staying away from the Euros and focusing with Arsenal, with the Copa America and the Euros coming to an end, and obviously just the market getting into July as all the players from all teams begin to start pre-season preparations, you're starting to see the wheels and the gears put into place, or better yet, put into motion for transfer dealings. You know, across the last few days, we've had a lot of rumours around, you know, players leaving. Calafiori looks like he might be the first, if any, to through the door at Arsenal. So we've got a lot to discuss, people. If you give me 30 seconds, I'll share my screen with you lot and we'll get into everything. Now, cracking on, David Ornstein has said, and I don't know if this is news necessarily, I haven't read it, but Arsenal are always going to be active in these markets. Some feel it's been a bit slow, a bit of a slow start for them, but I don't think so. They'll have their targets in place. There's been Euro 2024 and Copa America. Maybe that creates a bit of impatience. If anything, we've seen from Edu and the Kroenke ownership in recent years is that they do really well in the market. They make their moves. They're pretty decisive. They tend to be successful and they're ready to invest. This is a market I'm sure Arsenal will tackle in a strong way as it goes on. Amen. And I think I speak for every Arsenal fan where, okay, get the California 41 over the line, get the people that can't progress with us out the door and get important fees. For me personally, central midfield needs to be addressed. I do think we need another versatile attacker. And if you could get a striker, that would be great, man. We need a bigger squad and we evidently need improvements. So yeah, shout out to Ornstein on that one. He's then went on to say there was lots of talk earlier about a potential striker. Since the Sesko transfer has not happened, I don't have concrete information to suggest Arsenal are going for an alternative striker with absolute clarity, certainty, better yet, man, say clarity. So that probably puts to bed, you know, the Osimhen rumours, the Gyökeres rumours, the Ivan Toney rumours for the moment. Apparently Tony's available for 40 million. I'm not saying he should be first choice, but you know, you could do a lot worse. Osimhen is going to take a lot of money, but it doesn't seem that at this moment in time Napoli have any suitors, and Gyökeres, it seems to have gone quiet essentially, people. I think Sesko was seen by Arsenal and other clubs as a market opportunity, that you go for him specifically because of what he represents. Then if you don't get him, maybe it's back to the drawing board, which it firmly is going back to the drawing board for us, people. Where Calafiori is concerned, DiMarzio has said negotiations continue despite interest of other clubs. Arsenal on the cusp of prevailing. Bologna want 50 million euros plus add-ons plus sell-on clause, which is probably fair. Arsenal have so far offered 50 million euros in total. Agents working to bridge the gap. So it's just the finer intricacies of the deal, dotting I's and crossing T's. Ornstein on Calafiori said, this is a target for Arteta. This is a player he'd like to sign. He may have to convince someone within Arsenal of this to get everybody on board, because I think there are some concerns about whether Arsenal need that position. Naturally, there's going to be a bit of deliberation. We have heard by the Athletic and everyone that Arteta wants a left-sided player. And I personally think beyond the obvious, you know, we need some clarity over the left-hand side. You know, we haven't filled the Xhaka void in midfield. Credit to Jorginho and Partey. Partey can't stay fit. I think we've used Jorginho more than we'd like to. I don't know where we're at with Fabio Vieira and Smith Rowe. Obviously, at left back, Timber's injury threw a spanner in the works. Tomiyasu's picked up knocks. Zinchenko has picked up knocks. Kiwior clearly hasn't, you know, convinced, or maybe someone like Calafiori, who like Kiwior can play left back as well as centre half, wouldn't be brought in. And I do think while, you know, Martinelli has to hold himself accountable for the poor form, the lack of permanent fixtures on that side has contributed to his poor form. And with Martinelli's form and, you know, Trossard doing very well but not necessarily starting, so that could tell you how Mikel Arteta views Martinelli and Trossard. I think there's a lot of unanswered questions, and in short, I think we need to address that. I think the season before the last one that's just gone was probably refreshing beyond the obvious, in the sense of we look fairly balanced down the left and down the right. And you look at our right hand side, you've got William Saliba, who's ever fit. Benjamin White is always there. Saka is always there. Martin Odegaard is always always there. And, you know, relationships have been able to build. We need that on the left-hand side, people. And obviously, this is me saying it. Mikel Arteta must know it. And I mean, I can't imagine you need some convincing about Calafiori, maybe on the basis of we were quote unquote fairly stocked in defense, even though another body wouldn't go amiss. But I think Edu could see, you know, obviously we've dealt with Bologna before. I do, you know, we didn't just wake up and say we're going to sign a left back. This might have been something Mikel Arteta's wanted to have done. And if we were, for instance, linked with Joshua Zirkzee, who seems to be going Man United, then obviously we had to come across the exploits of Calafiori at club level. Obviously, he's done what he's doing at international level, really. So we'll have to see in that regards. And it does raise in question and almost whet the appetite and entice you in theory of what the plans are for Tomiyasu and Timber, or better yet, the whole collective defense, really. We need different options. And again, you know, there's a lot of things that will dictate who plays, you know, form, what Arteta wants, the game state, injury, suspensions, fixture congestion, all of that kind of stuff. Clearly, Calafiori is extremely enthusiastic about the possibility of joining Arsenal. So if he is enthusiastic and we are in talks, if there was any convincing to be done by Mikel Arteta to the people above him, quote unquote, it's already done clearly, about joining Arsenal. I was told some time ago that he's completely on board. If the clubs can agree a deal, Bologna are asking for around 50 million euros, which many in the game feel is significantly above his market value. I mean, potentially, you know, he's been at Bologna for a year and a bit off the back of a promising spell at Basel. Obviously, he's 22 years of age. He did do well at international level and for Bologna. Naturally, you want to drive the price down in the same way, you know, Bologna, you want the biggest price, especially if you're selling him not to Juventus, but to the English market. You know, and they probably would have done the same with Joshua Zirkzee had he not have had a release clause, people. Again, Calafiori to Arsenal, salary, asking price, and Bologna inquiry. What we know so far, allegedly he's agreed personal terms, but the Gunners haven't yet received the green light from Bologna, people. Apparently he's on the verge of joining us. Sources, or better yet, multiple sources in Italy claim the Italian international has agreed a contract of around 4 million euros a year, people. So again, there's more intricacies. Apparently, Romano has confirmed that Calafiori's primary option was Arsenal, and he had interest from Leverkusen, Chelsea, and Paris Saint-Germain. Allegedly, but some of these clubs were never in talks. Bologna said at the beginning of July that they want to keep the player, and if he had left, the most likely destination would be a foreign league. Apparently, another publication has said Calafiori would surely join the Gunners in a deal worth 50 million euros plus add-ons. So we'll have to see in that regards. And apparently, separately, they've asked for Jakub Kiwior, people, in which it's another club that's interested in him in Italy, and you'd imagine that's a separate deal, essentially, really. And fair enough, man. You know, it looks peak for Kiwior, really. You could stay and be a body in depth, but I reckon Zinchenko, whose future is subject to speculation, is going to play before you. Calafiori is going to play ahead of you. Timber and Tomiyasu are stronger options at left back. And, you know, Timber, Tomiyasu, Calafiori, as well as Saliba, Gabriel. Obviously, you never want to see Benjamin White move from that right back spot. But Benjamin White, I'm not trying to diss Kiwior, but I think they're all better centre half options. So if we can get a sale for Kiwior and bring some money in on top of what we're allegedly doing, fair enough. So yeah, we've kind of gone through this already. It seems like there's a bit of gamesmanship. Both clubs are trying to get that deal over the line. Apparently, Calafiori has given his word to Arteta and does not intend to listen to other offers right now. Crucially, right now, if we can't agree this, then he has to, or he could stay put. Once again, Bologna have apparently joined the race for Kiwior, people, and a return to Italy could be good for him. So now you've previously had Napoli, you've obviously got Bologna, Juventus, Inter, and AC Milan allegedly have all been interested in the Polish international. So we'll have to see in that regards. Keeping up the theme with outgoings, as you know, Lazio are moving ever closer to confirming the signature of Nuno Tavares. There is some rumors online that we've agreed a deal of 7 to 8 million euros plus a 20% sell-on clause. Good riddance, people. As it says here, respectfully, Arsenal and Lazio have agreed a loan-to-buy deal for Tavares, who has been given permission to discuss personal terms with the Serie A club. We know he's not part of the team, people. Tavares and Arsenal have clearly made it clear with each other that this relationship needs to stop. Like I said, people, it goes from 6 to 7 to 8 million euros plus a sell-on. Apparently, Tavares' agents are due to hold a video call with Lazio today to discuss personal terms. Apparently, Ajax had also shown tentative interest. Arsenal are beginning to turn the screw in their bid to clear the decks, as there are a number of fringe players within their ranks, apologies, that can leave for the right price. Marseille are now showing interest in Eddie Nketiah. We won't talk on that Man United player for obvious reasons. Apparently, Edu is ready to consider permanent offers for Nketiah, while Reece Nelson has emerged as a target for West Ham. Sevilla allegedly remain in discussions with Arsenal over an initial loan deal for Albert Sambi Lokonga with a view to a permanent. In terms of incomings, we know we've had a bid rejected for Dan Bentley. People, they want £1 million. We've bidded allegedly. Some reports say 500k. This is said 50 grand. So we'll have to see. And obviously, Aaron Ramsdale is someone that could be moved on as well, people. So we're going to have to see what's going on there. Where Eddie Nketiah is concerned, however, the court of side has said Arsenal may feel they're in a strong position to hold out for more money, as well as Marseille. Nketiah is also attracting interest from Brentford, Crystal Palace, Everton, West Ham, and Wolves. Sources believe these clubs could make moves for him soon. Apparently, we're seeking people 35 to 40 million euros. Marseille are said to be preparing an offer of 25 million euros. So again, we'll have to see exactly what's going to happen there. We're still linked with Moreno, who apparently has a year left on his deal and has no intention of signing a new one at Sociedad. So we'll have to see how that develops, people. Dani Almo, who yesterday was aggressively linked with a number of clubs, much like ours. Apparently, Manchester City are stealing the march on the impressive Spanish international. Ryan Taylor has said, Dani Almo's 50 million euros RB Leipzig release clause is expected to be triggered before it expires next Monday. Mirror Football understands there are clubs from both the Premier League and Spain ready to meet the release clause following background discussions. Now, some rumours have said Chelsea are onto him. Some have said Chelsea are not prepared to meet his release clause, people. Once again, Lazio and Arsenal are getting towards getting the deal done. Sky Sports have said the same as well, folks. Moving on from that, Kieran Tierney, who I don't know how severe his injury is, but it might throw a spanner in the works if he is to depart. Didn't do enough clearly to convince Sociedad to sign him permanently. Celtic are unlikely to be able to return Kieran Tierney to the club this summer. Sources say a reunion would be a dream for both the player and the club, but it's believed there are major question marks about Celtic's financial ability to strike a deal. So that's probably where that starts and stops. Young Rennell Waters, who left Arsenal, has confirmed his new club. He's actually signed a 4-year deal with Luton Town. We wish him all the best in that regard. Apparently, Arsenal are incredibly confident of keeping Chido Obi Martin, people, and getting a contract done. Some reports say he had face-to-face talks with Mikel Arteta. Locatelli's been linked with Marseille. So how long until he's linked with Arsenal Football Club once again, people? Where Fofana's concerned, people, it seems like Arsenal won't be signing him. It seems like he's moving ever closer to joining AC Milan. Apparently, his priority is AC Milan, despite interest from the Premier League, and he's agreed personal terms, as you can see, as Romano has said. In terms of outgoings, I think this is a good little tweet in terms of a recap. Mika Beref has already left on for 4 million quid. Lokonga looks like he's leaving on loan. Tavares looks like he's leaving with an obligation to buy. Kiwior is drawing interest, but there's been no bids yet. Partey has interest from Saudi, but there's no bids. Smith Rowe has concrete interest from Fulham, but there's no bids. Nketiah has interest from Marseille, but we haven't heard of a bid. And the same goes for Reece Nelson. So I don't think we can sell all of them. I don't think everyone will go, but you get the point. Apparently, Leroy Sane is a candidate for sale, people, as his contract expires next season. I wonder if he's the unnamed German that social media were going wild and waxing lyrical about. Arsenal was signing a mystery German that was competing in the Euros. Who knows? Romano has said there's been some suggestion that Arsenal will no longer necessarily be making a striker a top priority target after missing out on Sesko. But I keep this situation open. No decision has been made yet. It will also depend on opportunities. We've gone over Sesko again, people. I'll move on from that and skip out that paragraph. There are other big names up front that we've heard a lot about this summer, but at the moment there's still nothing close to concrete for Victor Osimhen or Victor Gyökeres. One striker who could be on the move, however, is Morata, who is expected to decide soon whether he wants to stay at Atletico Madrid or try a new chapter with AC Milan. So how long before we're linked with Morata, people? Once again, we've gone over the Chido Obi Martin stuff. Apparently, Napoli have received a 200 million euro bid from PSG. I strongly doubt that, but nonetheless, the 25-year-old is still linked with PSG, Arsenal, and Chelsea, people. So we'll have to watch the Nigerians' interest. Arsenal are one of 6 clubs allegedly keen on Dani Almo, as well as Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, Bayern Munich, and Barcelona. Again, we've gone over the Calafiori stuff. I'm excited to talk about Calafiori, innit? We've gone over that. what's this? It's irrelevant. So yeah, people, it seems like we've covered everything. Obviously, if there is any other emerging news, you can rest assured I'll get vids out for you lot. But for now, people, stay safe, stay blessed. Check out the videos that I've done already, people. One of you started the creative kind of thoughts in my head about Timber potentially playing in midfield. By the time this video comes out, that video should be there as well, people. So yeah, one love for listening. Don't forget to drop a comment, hit the like button, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Peace.